And we are going to talk about Somalians, right?
Yeah, I thought that was the plan.
That is the plan. We're just double checking the plan, man. I'm double checking the plan. I do not want to be having audio issues like we had last time.
Welcome to Nice Ashes. Join hosts Mike and Nate for cigars and culture. Let's go beyond the smoke.
What are we smoking today, Mike?
We are smoking a CAO Colombia Robusto, and I am very excited for this. Should be good. I have never had one, but the Country series by CAO has produced some very good cigars.
And it's very pretty.
It is. I've been a fan of CAO for a long time. I've always liked their cigars.
Yeah, I like them too, on average. I'm pairing mine with an Oliphant Brewing Lumberjack Bays, Baes.
Nice.
Is that how the kids pronounce it? Anyway, it's a hazy IPA.
I've never had any of their beer, but I've had some of their other products.
Yes. My wife got some of their other products, and one of their other products is a 25 milligram THC beverage.
Did she get extinct or too dazed or...
I don't remember which one, but I know they also have a 50 milligrams, so I don't know what is going on in that town, but I guess they need some healing.
Cycling Frog makes a product that's 50 milligrams. That's pretty fantastic. So are you using your new microphone?
Yes, I am, Mike. I'm still using it, and it didn't seem to cause any problems this time, but I think I shielded it against the, quantum particles and that sort of stuff tonight. So your computer should be fine way over there.
Perfect.
I hope. First few puffs of this are quite pleasant. Cap doesn't really have any overwhelming taste on it. First few puffs are, I don't know if this is fully a Connecticut, but it's got the same kind of Connecticut flavors or similar Connecticut flavors, and pretty smooth first few puffs. What about you, Mike?
Yeah, it's a good start. To repeat what Nate said, I don't know if is a Connecticut, but it looks like it and it tastes like it. So we'll find out. I'm not an expert. I didn't look it up. It's a very light wrapper by comparison to a Maduro. So
yes, that's the thing with Mike is he finds all of these cigars, and it doesn't matter how weird or strange or unheard of it is, or how popular it is. He does zero research on what it actually is. So you guys kind of find out along with us what it is we're smoking because no research has been done. We just fly by the seat of our cigar wrappers here. So
I try to recreate the buying experience of the listener, right? Like you're not really looking into all this crap.
Hopefully
do you care what kind of wrapper it is? No. Not if you're listening to this show. That's for people
I don't know. We did do the green, what are they, the canola leaves? The barber pole? So, I mean, we talk about some of the fancy stuff.
Yeah. I mean, that's true. But those are for those episodes. That's when we actually do the real research because we're smoking good cigars.
Well, I don't know. I did the real research with the levels because Simha is the ultimate guide from, Illinois cigar shops, and he was the one that recommended those, and so I felt like I did ample research on those.
Oh, there we go. I know I bought this at a cigar lounge, so I don't remember what I spent on it, but it was a in-person purchase.
In-person purchase. Well, and the CAOs are mostly pretty comparable in price point, I believe. They might have one or two that are a little higher, but...
This is like a $10 stick at a lounge. It might be more than that now.
Sure.
But yeah, it's at $10 price point where some of them are still bad, but you're pretty reliably going to get good cigars.
Yeah, it'll mostly be at least half good, right?
Right.
Or more than half. Maybe sometimes you get a little bit on the end, towards the end of the cigar where it gets pretty foul, even still in the, $8 to $10 range. But
yeah. Once you get up, I mean, even at 13, the end can be a little questionable, but not usually. And 15, I mean, I'd be pretty disappointed if I had a $15 cigar that wasn't good the whole way through. At least for Minnesota right now.
Yeah.
Probably doesn't apply to like Vegas or Florida or something.
Oh, sure.
Certainly not the Renaissance Fair.
Oh my God. I went with my sister-in-law, and I brought some pipes and pipe tobacco, and we just smoked pipes instead of worrying about cigars.
Did you see what they were charging for Tatianas at the cigar lounge?
No. What were they charging?
Oh. I took a picture, but it was $8 or $10 for the Tatiana, and the Moon Trance was just shy of $20.
Wow!
And I was like, "Oh my goodness! There's no way that I'd spend $8 for a Tatiana."
Well, there's no way you'd spend $8 for a Tatiana sober and be happy about it.
Right. Anyway, we should get into the episode.
We always have to put a few Mike caveats on these stories.
Oh, yeah.
We're not going to talk about U.S. responsibility in contributing to Somali instability, are we, Mike?
I think that's what we're going to talk about today, Nate.
Oh.
So, this is the shtick for the series.
Oh, yeah,
go ahead.
Yeah, okay. I was just gonna tell our listeners this is one of our last kind of background information things before we get to the question that you wanted to answer with this series, right?
Right. Which I'm having the AI determine whether or not Somali refugees can integrate into both the United States and then more specifically the Minnesota culture.
Yeah.
So
are you
there's a bit
asking
of one and a bit of the
ChatGPT or the racist one, Grok?
Neither. I use Claude, so I'm using
sure.
neither of those. It was recommended to me by a computer programmer friend.
Yes.
So
one I think I know.
Yeah. I believe you know this gentleman's name.
Yes.
But
not to be said on air because what? He's part of that anonymous group, or
I don't think he is anymore. I don't think he is anymore. He
is not now, nor has he ever.
I can't speak for what happened in the past, you know. But whatever.
It's a wild time. Wild times.
Not
many records survive of that era.
All right, so we're gonna do a timeline, and we're gonna break this down, and we're gonna go over the key areas of U.S. contribution to instability,
specifically in Somalia.
Specifically in Somalia. So the United States has engaged in a long-term pattern of destabilization of the country. In the 60s, Somalia aligned with the communist bloc, and through U.S. intervention, they flipped Somalia's government to a American satellite in 1977. Now, this, of course, continued until 1991 when the United States decided that they were no longer going to supply military aid because they no longer needed an ally in the region, right?
Sure.
And there's some consequences because for 30 years, the U.S. militarily supported a dictator who committed human rights violations against his own people, which is a pattern that everybody my age and older should recognize.
Yeah.
Right. Like this is not new,
it's
right?
Not
this is
unique
not new
to Somalia.
No. So Bear or whatever his fucking name is, he pretty much suppressed any political opposition, and he used the clan system for his benefit to control the population. And of course, as is always the case in these U.S.-sponsored dictatorships, he basically just built a huge, massive military that controlled the population.
Yeah, as one does.
Well, as crazy dictators that are backed by the United States government do, for sure.
Well, yeah.
It's, as we said, this is not a unique story, unfortunately. However, it is the one we are talking about now.
Yes. Yeah, because we did one, we did a book review of somewhere in South America. And it seems like it was, kind of play by play, this story as well.
Well, yeah, we read Confessions of an Economic Hitman.
Oh, yeah.
And he was involved in Central America in the 80s.
Yeah.
And it's pretty much, it's very similar stories.
Yeah.
So, crazily enough, the government almost immediately fell and famine took over, which, of course, famine mixed with civil war is horrifying. So, of course, the United States...
Didn't that kind of coincide with another severe drought?
Yes. Oh, yeah, drought. So, the end of the Cold War and a drought combined together to make a famine/lack of government situation where there's a ton of weapons and historical grievances amongst the clans, right? Like it is ideal situation for a civil war, for sure. So in 92, the United States invaded and they called it Operation Restore Hope.
Well, because Operation New Hope was already copyright by Lucasfilms.
Right. And of course, the United States is part of this mission. It started off purely militarily, and then it turned into nation building, which is a term that we heard a lot in the early aughts because they claimed they were going to avoid nation building. Sure. Which was a callback to this war, which I was not aware of at the time.
Can we take a step back real quick, Mike? You have here that Operation Restore Hope did successfully address the famine because I believe the United States forces brought a bunch of food and water and
yes, temporarily the United States provided them with U.S. aid as a part of the war effort, which U.S. aid is like all the excess farm production in the Midwest goes to U.S. aid, and they just dump this in like war zones that the United States is involved with so they can feed the people that they're killing. It's wonderful. Very humanitarian.
Hey, man, it's no fun to kill people if they're already half dead, right?
Right, exactly. Yeah. We don't starve the population as we kill them. We feed them and then shoot them dead.
It's more humane.
It's way more humane. Way better. So anyway, politically, this could not continue after Bill Clinton got elected. And in 95, the U.S. withdrew. So, of course, there's a complex political situation going on in Somalia, and the U.S. tried to solve it militarily and failed. This started a pattern. The U.S. withdrew without any establishment of institutions or effective government, and apparently it
what happened to all that
resentment.
nation building they were doing?
Well, apparently it wasn't very successful. Nation building. It's almost like they're so different that we can't really relate to each other enough to help each other. It's strange. Never heard of it.
Yes.
But anyway, apparently in Somalia, there's a lot of harsh feelings towards the U.S. government because they feel like the U.S. screwed them over, which they did. So definitely some anti-U.S. sentiment in Somalia.
Yes.
Yes. So, of course, the U.S. saved lives by feeding people, but it also destabilized the area and began a pattern of not fully committing to the region and just kind of messing about and causing a ruckus.
Yes, as the United States is prone to do.
So we're going to go from 01 to 25, which in the previous episode, we broke up into really two periods, which is 2001 to 24 and then 25, because 25 kind of is its own period.
Sure.
So according to the stats that the AI used, from 2003 to 2021, there was 263 counterterrorism operations with less than 2,000 casualties, which is unbelievable. That is impossible. I think we discussed that last time.
Yeah, I think we did.
Yeah. These operations, of course, just strengthened al-Shabaab and reinforced their narrative and allowed them to recruit better amongst the Somali population. Donald Trump apparently launched 202 of the 263 operations from 17 to 21. So this is almost like Donald Trump's war to a certain extent.
Yeah. Well, he's picking up the old mantle, as it were.
He is. He's just picking up like the early 90s policy in a lot of ways. And then he's in 25, they did 43 strikes. So major escalation. I don't know what's going on there. Because we live in the West, it's impossible to know what's really going on there because we don't have accurate.
Well,
we don't have access to media.
We talked about this last time, but it's 43 or more strikes in 2025 so far compared to 10 last year in 2024. So it's, at least quadruple the amount from last year. So something's going on, as we mentioned, but
right. Because of the language barrier and the cultural barrier, it's not like Ukraine and Gaza where they have not only cell phones, but access to Western internet. You know what I mean? Like, they're not on the same social media, so they can't get the word out. The Somali people that are living there.
Yeah, if they even have social media, and we'll talk about it a little more in the literature episode that will be coming up after this one at some point. But I don't know that much of the Somalis actually spend time on the internet like most everywhere else does. I think they still have kind of like the internet cafes where you go and you can check your email and then you're done. Kind of.
Well, yeah, because they haven't had a functioning government since 1991 at the very minimum. They don't have any infrastructure for like modern technology. It's like going backwards in time. So there's significant evidence that the U.S. efforts have been counterproductive. Al-Shabaab, which is an Al-Qaeda affiliate, they affiliated with Al-Qaeda in 2012, which the U.S. affiliated with Al-Qaeda, in 2022? Is that accurate?
I believe so.
Affiliate? Yeah, I think so. So we were a decade behind Somalia in our love for Al-Qaeda.
Yep. Gotta get some of that extra special Sharia law.
Right. Which, that's great. So Al-Shabaab is the most successful branch of Al-Qaeda, and apparently they are the richest and also the most effective in killing Americans. So, that's great. It's very clear that there's just a perpetual conflict cycle that the U.S. has been sustaining for 24 years. years, and we have created kind of a financial quagmire for ourselves. We have given the Somali government $3 billion in the last 10 years, and then we've given them an additional $2 billion for humanitarian aid, and an additional
that
$2
second
billion.
number, 2 billion, is 2 billion euros.
Oh, British
or
pounds.
Pounds.
Yeah,
So
that's all.
It's
Yeah.
it's probably more like 3.5 billion US.
I suppose so. I didn't even notice that was pounds. Thank you for catching that.
Sure, yeah. I mean,
Yeah. So
I'm all for trying to downplay the spending when you're buying like cigars or board games or, podcast equipment. But when we're talking about funding people that are really good at killing Americans and
yeah. No,
being
I
downright
support that.
terrible to the to the Somali
Right, exactly.
population.
Exactly. So, and then there's been additional security aid of $2 billion since 2006. So we're talking probably real dollars, 8 to 10 billion.
Yeah, $8 to $10 billion.
Yeah.
And that doesn't count all the weapons that were supplied.
Right.
Probably not.
Well,
Because I believe when the U.S. pulled out, they left a bunch of stuff behind. So that would
oh
just
yeah,
be, that
the
would
U.S.
just be
they
stuff
left everything.
that's,
They always do.
yeah.
Yeah, they always do. So
I mean, it's a tax
course-
write-off for
go
sure. But
ahead.
now they're all freaking armed. So
right, exactly. This, of course, has basically made any legitimate government in Somalia dependent on the United States, and it's prevented those governments from using politics to build bridges internally, and instead, like, every government the U.S. has backed in Somalia since 1960 has been a military dictatorship. And this just so happens to be that right now, the government's not committed to fully funding a dictatorship there anymore, like we were during the Cold War.
yeah.
Yeah, it's great. So the U.S. has shown inconsistent engagement patterns. Possibly if we would have stayed involved with their government for the entire time, that Somalia would not have fell apart. And it's such a disaster that, I mean, the UN is involved, the U.S. is involved, nobody wants to take responsibility, and every solution that is being tried is military, and it's not going to work. Right?
Yeah.
It's impossible to dominate that region militarily. They don't have a society like ours to take over. So similar to Afghanistan, they're not easy to control.
Yeah, because you have at least 5 distinct clans in varying tiers of power, right? We were talking about that, I think, last episode where, one clan kind of gets the backing of this terrorist group and the other clan gets the backing of that terrorist group. And then they kind of rotate the clans, through the leadership cycles. And I think by and large, the average citizen doesn't have a say. The average Somali citizen doesn't have a say, doesn't have they might have a preference, I guess, but it doesn't seem like any one of these clans has been overwhelmingly friendly to anybody, even members of their own clan, because they're in power, so they don't have to be friendly to anybody. And
Right.
I guess that's just what that is. Do you want to do a cigar check, Mike?
Sure. I'm not quite halfway, but I'm assuming you are.
I believe so. It's tough to say sometimes. It's not like I measure it and then measure it again when I think I'm halfway and say that I'm distinctly there, but I'm well past what Cigar Aficionado considers the end of the stick, so I've got to be halfway.
How do you like it?
I like it. I think that there was, I don't know, in the first inch or 2 inches, there was kind of a taste that I wasn't overwhelmingly enjoying. It wasn't the full like acetone or acid or acrid of the levels, but it was just I don't know if it was kind of like a hint of burnt, like LaCroix burnt flavor or something, but it was slightly, very, very slightly off-putting, but only for that little section. And then it's gone back to what I would expect, I guess. So I think it's good so far. I don't think it's overwhelmingly amazing, mind-blowing, or, panty-dropping or anything like that yet, but I think it's a pretty solid stick.
Yeah, I like it so far. I didn't get that, but also I'm smoking it much, much slower than you are. Much
Sure.
slower. So
Sure.
a lot of times with these lighter wrappers, that slow smoke becomes very important to enjoy it. At least for me.
Yeah,
I get
that's
them
true.
too hot and they start to taste sour.
Yeah, it wasn't
Yeah.
quite a sour taste. It felt like it was I don't know what. I don't know if it was like one leaf that they put in there was, I don't know, crispy on one edge or something from the sun. Who knows? It was just a very mild thing. It could have been because I was smoking too fast or what have you. But again, it was so brief. I did just want to mention it though, because I had noticed it and I was like, that's an interesting flavor that I'm not particularly fond of, but it went away pretty quick. So
there we go. So in order to be fair with our analysis, I wanted to address issues that are not the fault of the government because obviously Somalia was not particularly stable before U.S. involvement.
Yes.
So there are some structural issues that Somalia was dealing with before the U.S. started being the major external force, which the borders of the country are not based on anything, just like all these. It's based on European military ideas, not on who is living in the country, just like much of Africa.
Yeah.
And it also has to deal with all the colonial legacy issues that all ex-colonies deal with. The clan system predates history. So all those issues, though they can be exploited by the United States or other outside influences, definitely aren't the fault of the United States. Also, apparently, I did not know this until I started reading this. Somalia is still trying to start conflicts with Ethiopia and Kenya, which I'm going to guess is al-Shabaab's doing. But
could be.
Apparently they're aggressive towards their neighbors as well.
Yeah, and I believe, Mike, Ethiopia and Kenya are, and where is Yemen? That's its own
Yemen
country?
Is in the Middle East. That's on the Saudi Peninsula.
So I believe those three countries are the biggest destinations for Somali refugees, and then the Somali refugees go there to get out of Somalia and to get out of that area and to go to Britain, America, Canada, wherever. So that might play
Sweden.
a part in Sweden. That might play a part in why Somalia is still trying to aggravate those people, because they want them to not accept Somali refugees, perhaps.
That makes sense. People,
again, I'm not a geopolitical wizard, but that's part of the and it's good to bring it up now, but it's part of the memoir I'm reading in anticipation of our literature episode. So I thought that was kind of a good. You never know. The stats don't tell you the whole story sometimes. So
no, they definitely do not. Especially not in the human stories. I mean, one thing to remember during this whole exercise is that these are human beings that are being victimized by circumstances beyond their control, and that's horrible, right? That's horrible. It'd be nice if we used our technology instead of to control our own population through surveillance with AI cameras and shit, and using digital ID like they're going to do in the UK.
Yeah, I heard about that. And they just made a full-blown AI movie actress that has Hollywood all in an uproar because they don't want any agencies to hire this actress because she doesn't exist. She's AI. But instead of that, why can't we help people? Like, and this episode's not about AI, so I don't want to go off on a huge tangent, just that I'm agreeing with you, Mike. We have all this crazy technology that could do great things for us, and we're kind of being dicks with it.
Dude, not kind of. It's horrifying in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
Like, it's really cool that I can get a wristwatch that has a movement, a quartz-based movement, that will lose or gain less than 5 seconds a year without any computer signal. Like, that's fucking really cool.
Yep.
But what would be even cooler is if we use that technology to solve problems like this, or at least to help facilitate, something.
Yeah. Everything's cool unless there's people dying somewhere from something that should be, solvable.
Right. Exactly. So, and then a climate change. Somalia is one of the vulnerable areas for climate change. So their climate is being
because they drive so many cars, Mike?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's all the cars.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they have bad regional dynamics there. Apparently the Gulf states, which you're talking about, Yemen, so they're on the other side of that is it the Sinai Peninsula, Red Sea, that little sea between the Arabian Peninsula and North Africa. And, I can't imagine that the Saudis are happy to have Somali refugees landing on their shores, right? Like, they're not well liked by any of their neighbors. So they're in constant conflict with them. And then they have internal issues. They do not have government institutions in the way that we think of them at all.
Yep.
They have the clan system, which is just a grievance culture and a long-term cycle of violence that will potentially never end.
Yeah, and I know you said the borders and things were drawn by Europeans and kind of their militaristic things. And I wonder almost with the distinct clans why they chose to make it one country. I mean, I'm sure the reason is, hey, all these people look the same. let's just draw a line around them on the map and call it good. But I wonder if they wouldn't have had...
Yeah, I didn't look into it. I should look.
Sure.
There might be like a river or a mountain chain that made it easy to defend with cannons.
Yeah.
And that is why it is one country, because it's easy to defend with 18th century military technology.
Well, on the other hand, too, if you divided it into 5 smaller countries, let's say, it's not like any one of those countries would have enough population or communication or anything to be able to defend themselves from whoever wanted to stroll in there and claim that 1/5 area either. So,
that is correct. From a Western perspective, militarily, those nation states are sound. It's just culturally,
the culture is not conducive to that kind of border drawing, I guess.
Right. Now, this particular one said that economic collapse is independent of U.S. actions, and I strongly disagree with that. Like, the economic collapse they experienced is directly related to the U.S. lowering military aid. 100%, because their economy was based on the fact that they were a satellite to our government.
Yeah, also, Mike, because a lot of these tribes, and we'll talk about it more in the literature one, I'm just going to keep teasing that episode, but a lot of the tribes are nomadic, and their wealth wasn't in actual money. It was in livestock, camels and things. And so when they had these droughts, it wiped out their entire wealth system because they didn't use money. They didn't have, it's not like they have Somali money,
right,
or at the time.
Yeah, they're a traditional pastoral culture.
Yeah, the droughts were independent of American influence, and a drought wipes out your entire herd. You have no money. You have to then move to a major population center. You have to give up your entire nomadic lifestyle and move somewhere where the economy isn't based on animals and droughts. And when you go there, then you have a city that has a huge influx of these people that don't have those skills. They don't have the city skills. So I can see where it's coming from, saying it was not directly related to the United States actions. But I also see where you're coming from, where the United States actions coupled with that drought. And I think the two droughts coincided. Like the one drought was in 1977 with the fall of communism and all of that stuff. And then the other drought was like right after the United States pulled out their military support. So it was kind of, I don't want to say the United States has weather machines, but you know, you look at those 2 points and you look at when the droughts happened, I think it was very, very bad timing all around. So,
well, on that's a good teaser, because I'm going to do an episode about weather warfare and weather control, because the U.S. has signed treaties with foreign nations that are old, that they would not use weather-changing technology to negatively affect the other if war were to break out. So it's highly implied that the U.S. and the old USSR believed that they had the ability to cause or prevent rain.
Why is the Weather Channel always wrong then, Mike?
Right. Right, because maybe military technology, they tell us, is 50 years ahead of ours, and it might be 150 years ahead of ours.
Yeah. Well, it's probably still classified, so.
Oh, right.
Anyway,
so,
and then keep going, Mike. You did the economic collapse, and then what? We have religious extremism.
Oh, yeah.
And there's a lot of international players involved in that, like stoking those fires.
Oh my God, the international, the Islamic extremist world is. I mean, the United States did fund that partially. So even that, our government it's not directly implicated, but it's indirectly implicated, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Right? Like, the U.S. stoked that shit during the Cold War on purpose to drain money from the USSR. So it's not like the hands are clean, you know?
No.
I didn't start the fire, but I poured the oil.
Well, sure. It's a lot like that thing where it's like, you know, you're walking along and you see somebody hanging off of a cliff and you could choose to save them or choose not to save them. And if you just keep walking, it's not like you pushed them off the cliff and made them fall to their death, but you also maybe don't have very clean hands or a clean conscience, whatever it is. But
yeah, whatever it is. We set them up for failure, that's for sure.
Yeah.
So we're going to go to our conclusions here. So this is largely to understand a recap so we can all understand why I say the U.S. is largely responsible for the way Somalia is, and that Somali refugees rightfully believe that the United States caused the problems that caused them to be here in the first place, right?
Yeah, and I think it's important, Mike, to remember the time frame here, because sitting at it, looking at it as a history lesson, you're like, well, okay, yeah, oh sure, yeah. United States was there in the 70s, United States was there in the 90s, and, you know, we've been, I guess, bombing, but when you think about it, and we mentioned this in both the previous episodes, is the people that live in Somalia, we're talking 77. When were your parents born, Mike? My parents were born in the 60s. These are people that have only known conflict and have only known the times the United States has let them down. So we can be, and that goes back to what we said earlier, is like these are actual living, breathing people that are suffering. And we can sit here and read off all these stats, but the people that are alive today in Somalia and the people that are what we would consider in America, like the voting age, the people that are kind of running the show, right? That age group, that age demographic, all they've known is everything we just talked about, the United States interference with their country. So it's very easy to see why they would have that resentment towards America. And I'm not trying to say America's doing great things here in Somalia. I'm just in perspective. This is all these people have known.
Right. And perspective is key. That'd be just like the war in Ukraine. Imagine if Russia in 2014 overthrew the Mexican government and installed a Russia-friendly government that wanted to join a new Warsaw Pact. What do you think the United States would do? Do you think that would be allowed?
Man, I don't think we'd have Taco Tuesdays anymore. I'll tell you that.
I mean, yeah, I think that it would be ugly. That would be really ugly, especially if it festered for 7 years after that, before engagement, active military engagement.
Yeah, it'd be worse than the Freedom Fried debacle.
Oh, it would. I think it would be horrifying. I don't think we'd be as nice as Russia. That's for sure.
Probably not.
Probably not. I mean, it wouldn't be good. I know I would not want to be an illegal alien in the United States.
No.
If that occurred.
No. I wouldn't want to be a tourist at some Mexican resort either at the time.
No, hell no. Hell no.
Yeah.
No. I definitely wouldn't want to be one of those Mormons living in northern Mexico.
No,
they wouldn't
I'm
live in northern Mexico.
I'm going to go to the Rockies and join the Badgers or something? The Red Dawn group?
Right, yeah, the Red Dawn group. Go join the Michigan militia or the Posse Comitatus.
Yep.
Oh, boy. So, here's our conclusions. Here's our pattern, right? The U.S. has contributed to Somali instability. Somalia was treated primarily as a Cold War proxy and then as a counterterrorism theater instead of as a place to grow a sustainable economy and a government and a population. So all of our investment has been military aid, and we have...
Well, in military first, like everything's military.
Yeah, it's military first. We have de-emphasized any political, economic, or diplomatic alternative to the situation. Or social. Oh, yeah. I mean, the U.S. is actively allowing Somalia to be a war zone, and it's encouraging it through its behavior. Our government is.
Yeah.
And surely they have scientists and social people and bureaucrats that have written detailed papers about this that the military uses in their projections. Because damn well that there's a whole team of people projecting about Somalia and the war in Somalia full time.
Yes.
Like that's their job. So we know the military is aware that this is being done.
Yeah.
For sure. There's no doubt. And this has been made worse by a cycle of being highly involved and then not. And then highly involved and then not. And best case scenario, the consequences are not intended. Best case scenario. I don't believe that. Military projections are pretty good. As long as their data set is good, they know how to do it. And they war game. I mean, we know this. The Pentagon war games everything.
Oh,
everything.
Of course.
I mean,
well, and
they
now
war
with
game
these
wars
AI
against Canada.
tools, it's even easier to do.
Right. You and I could do it.
Oh,
we could run war games. Like, easily, we could run war games. I mean, they'd be like bro science war games, but
well,
we could do it.
Yeah.
They'd probably
get a couple
accurate.
of get a couple guys from the War Thunder forums, and they'd be pretty damn accurate, I bet.
Yes. Hobbyists. So, the AI seems to think that the U.S. is in a counterterrorism trap. They think that al-Shabaab has been reinforced by the actions of the United States. And there's a dependency on external military intervention. Sure. And that the actions of the United States have prevented the local population from developing a political solution to their problems. And that a lot of the economic problems right now are directly related to U.S. military intervention and the lack of ability to build infrastructure.
Sure.
I mean, it's really hard to build infrastructure. If you're a pastoral economy, it's hard to build infrastructure. And then if you bomb all the cities at the same time, That's not an easy task.
Well, no, and the bitch of the whole thing is, I guess, that the pastoral, the nomadic cultures got pretty much wiped out by the 2 droughts and moved to the big cities, and then you're bombing the big cities, so you have most of the population in the big cities. So it's not good news.
Yeah. So, this is like the last little section here. According to the AI, even with the softening of their conclusions, I think a little bit in favor of the U.S., it considers the U.S. actions to be a significant contributing factor to the instability in Somalia, which started with support of authoritarian dictatorship. Yeah. And then it doesn't mention this, the fallout from reducing military support with a fucking drought, which is crazy to me.
Mm-hmm.
That's a pretty big oversight to me.
Yeah.
But this is what the AI is saying, right? I'm trying to be as kind and I was trying not to direct it to where I wanted it to go on purpose, right? I'm allowing it to generate data set based on mainstream ideas.
A neutral prompt, or as neutral as possible prompt to see what would come back.
Exactly.
And that's the thing. So it's not like Mike was sitting here and doing like a racist prompt or a pro-America prompt or an anti-America prompt, but instead, a neutral prompt and then see what comes up. And it's about as objective as a couple Americans can get, probably.
Right. I will reiterate, because of the language barrier and the cultural barrier, I will fully admit, and we need to say it again. Ultimately, we really don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
We can't. It's impossible for us to know the truth. It cannot be. I know that I don't know.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and we only know in our brief or very, very limited interactions with Somali immigrants. That's about all we know. Plus what we can find on the internet, which how many of those are Somali-based facts, Somali-based reports? We just said they don't have the same access to the internet that the average American has, that the average European has. They don't really have social media. They don't have that kind of stuff. So we're getting filtered down reports and stories from people that are not Somalian, reports from people that are not Somalian. So
right. And to that, even if we did start getting reports, a flood of reports, it's not like a significant enough portion of our population speaks Somali to be able to verify what we're being told about the videos. It's not like videos in Russian and Ukrainian. I live in a smallish area for this country, right? A very small area for the country at large. And there's probably 100 people that speak Russian and Ukrainian just where I live, right? And where you live, there's tens of thousands of people in Minneapolis that speak Russian or Ukrainian.
I mean, they have a whole Russian art museum here.
Right. Easily. So, if they can't lie about what's being said. It's impossible. There's just too many people that are aware of what the language is. So if you see a video that was on a phone, if you speak Ukrainian, you know everything they're saying. They can't just lie.
Well, and there's a fair number of people in the country that have ingested Tylenol and now are autistic and maybe just picked up Russian on a whim.
Right. It's very strange. So not to get off on a tangent on that, but
I was baiting you, Mike. I was baiting you.
Yeah, the company has said in the past that they were concerned about the possibility, and they do not recommend it for pregnant women in large dosages as a result. That was said on the news 10 years ago.
Yeah,
so it's not like this wasn't
that same one.
Yeah, it's not like it was a secret. It was a secret in the way that they're not covering it on CNN every day.
Yeah,
but they did say it publicly.
Well. And the interesting thing with the whole Tylenol thing, Mike, and again, not to go on this tangent, but it kind of ties into the videos. If you get videos from Ukraine or wherever you get them from, we live in one of the few developed countries in the world where pharmaceutical companies are allowed legally to market directly to the consumer. So you could pick any drug that you can buy over the counter, any drug you need a prescription for, and you can find a 47-page document of side effects that it warns you about. They do it in the commercials all the time. And most other countries are baffled when they see their first pharmaceutical ad on a television station or a streaming service or wherever, because most other countries don't allow them to directly market to that. And so, sure, might it cause it? Maybe. Might some other drug also cause something else equal or worse? Probably. probably true. What can, and part of the problem, to bring it back to the videos and everything, is the American populace at large is so desensitized to all of this stuff. I mean, if you watch with young kids over-the-air TV, first of all, they don't know what a commercial is, and they get mad, and they say, what? Huh? And I'm like, this is how I watched TV growing up. You just get used to it. Go take a bathroom break now. This is your bathroom break time. They hate commercials because they're used to streaming. But you're so desensitized because everything you see is like, oh, are you feeling suicidal? Well, guess what? Take this drug, and it will also make you suicidal. But it might also work. And people just ignore the bad stuff and focus on the good stuff. And the same with these videos is how many horrendous videos can you see just on the local newscast? Not even talking about like what you can see on social media sites that people post. So even if we got videos from Somalia, would they even register on the general American population?
I don't think they would go general, but I think in Minnesota, we would be exposed to them because of the Somali population. We have a major expat population here, and I think that there's enough Somali there's enough children of Somali refugees who were born in the States to where they could at least bring it into the public awareness here, right? Like through Minneapolis and their influence there, it would make it statewide for us.
Sure, yeah.
Right, it would. Nationally, probably not. But I think it would make it at least to the state level news for sure. Maybe it would make it to Canadian news.
Yeah.
Definitely make it to Swedish news. Sweden has a huge Somali population there, and they have some major societal issues with the Somali population, more than we do.
Okay.
But they're not integrating well into Swedish culture. And it's similar to the situation in the UK, but not as extreme.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we also live in an information age, and they don't need to lie. They just need to not talk about it and focus on other things. And then have it in one news source and then never talk about it again. And that way it's covered, from a technical perspective.
Yeah, we covered it. Nobody was interested. So we're going to talk about the 577th story from the Charlie Kirk thing.
Right. Like, let's not talk about the fact that the EU is controlling elections in European countries and they're banning political opposition parties.
Yeah.
Like, let's not talk about that. Like, the European elections right now, they're running, well, when you listen to this, it will be a month in the past. But there were multiple major national elections in Europe, and they ran unopposed because they just banned the political opposition because they were too pro-Russian.
Sure.
Nothing like an election with one party.
Oh,
right,
yeah.
China?
You get choices. As long as it's what dear leader likes, it's good.
Yeah, as long as it's what the ruling elites say, you can think it.
Yep.
Otherwise, it's banned. Because it's bad. It's whatever the bad word is for the day.
Yep.
Right? If you're in a city, they call you like a right-winger. That's like the slur.
Yep.
You're a right-wing extremist.
But if you're outside the city, then you're a liberal.
Then you're a lefty liberal. And it's like the same.
It's the same opinion.
The same thing.
It's the same opinion. But,
Yeah.
if you say it in the city, you're that. And if you say it outside the city, you're the other one. So it's the same opinion. Nothing has changed.
Yeah, just the marketing.
Yeah.
It's just a marketing term.
Exactly.
It's like being called a socialist it's like being called a socialist when we were growing up, right? Like that was a marketing term that they used to just denigrate any political opposition.
Pretty much, yeah.
In the fallout of the Cold War,
Yeah. Or the satanic panic, right? It was anything that wasn't what they deemed to be correct, then you were in league with the devil.
Right. There's patterns. That's part of one of the themes of the show, right? Like there's patterns and things change, but they don't.
Yeah. The words and methods may change, but the underlying psychology does not. Or, something like that.
So, Nate, where are you at in your cigar?
I'm getting down there where my fingers are getting a little toasty. How about you, Mike?
I have about an inch and a half left, inch and a quarter. I was talking too much.
Fine by me. What do you think of it, Mike?
I like it. It's not disappointing to me at all. It's not incredible by any means, right?
No, yeah.
I am not going to puff it up as some like life-altering smoking experience, right?
Sure, yeah. You're not ordering a case of them.
No. I'm not ordering anymore. But
yeah.
If you know your taste and you say, I really like Connecticut cigars, and you haven't had one, try it. Like it's a recommend. I would recommend.
Sure.
For somebody who is a regular cigar smoker, just because part of the enjoyment of the hobby is trying different cigars that you've never had.
Yeah,
and
I'm
a
struggling with the rating on this one, but I was debating between like a 2.5, which is like exactly the midpoint, or a 3. And I think I'm just going to split the difference and do like a 2.75 because I was looking and the La Gloria Cubano Serie R Maduro, I gave a 2.5 and you gave a 3.5. But I don't know if I would rather smoke the Colombia than the Sierra Maduro. So,
see, for me, they're in the same range of my desirable. Like, it's a fine cigar. It's perfectly adequate, but it's not great.
No,
you know?
and I don't know. There's a lot to be said for consistency throughout, and it was very, very consistent. It's just, it's probably a personal thing for me with the flavor. Like, it was very consistent. Outside of that one, a few little puffs near the beginning, it tasted pretty much the same the whole way through.
Flavor consistency, the build of the cigar is excellent, right?
Yeah,
It had no flaws, no draw issues, no flaking, none of the issues that we get with cheap cigars.
Yeah.
So its build quality is excellent.
Yeah.
That's why I rated it a 3.5. That's why I rated the Series Armaduro to 3.5.
Yeah.
It's better than a lot of cigars that we smoke, but it's not. It's not great, right? I wouldn't buy this and give it to somebody as a gift.
Yeah. I guess I keep thinking, and I know it's more expensive here, but the New World Navigante that we had was so good, and it was a very, 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 very cheap stick. And this one is more expensive. I don't know. It's a very good cigar. This one, I liked it. I enjoyed it. But it's not the flavor or the cigar experience that I am personally drawn to, which is hence my rating, I guess. Not meant as a slight on the cigar, because Mike said, everything Mike said was very true. The build and the flavor and the consistency, and those are difficult things to do. So if you smoke one and find it to be in your flavor profile, it's a very good stick to have. And that's the beauty of like the CAO line, because they have so many different styles and flavors and tastes and wrappers, and you can find 1, 2, 3, 5 you like, and then the other 20 you don't have to look at,
Well, right. Like, I like the Flathead a lot, and I like the MX2 a lot. I always will, probably.
Yeah.
But that's in my flavor range, and we didn't smoke it on the show, but I smoked the Amazon Basin, and I would like to smoke a smaller, like a smaller, shorter, fatter one than the one I smoked a Toro.
Oh,
and
sure.
I would like a fat, like a nub style in that particular style of cigar. I think that would be pretty interesting to try.
Sure.
But the CAO cigars, like I say, I've been a fan since I started smoking cigars in the mid-aughts. And they make a high quality product. It's not always necessarily what you want, but there's 3 cigars that I can think of off the top of my head that are always going to be around the humidor, So gotta give them respect for that.
For sure.
We didn't even mention the Moon Trance by name. That's how good it is. You don't even need to. You don't even need to.
Yeah, you don't have to. I mean, truly, the CAO line it has some serious width to it. And I think they also have depth, because depending on the style that you like, there are with the Country series, their main stuff, their Flathead series or Engine Block series, or I don't know, kind of like quasi car stuff. They've got a wide variety in each of the styles that you might like. So there's bound to be several CAOs that you enjoy.
Absolutely. You like the consigliere significantly more than I did, if I remember correctly.
Yep.
So, like I say, it's worth a try. I know Sarah, she smoked a cigar last night in the lounge. She had tried one of the Deadwood cigars.
Okay.
That we have not tried on the show.
No.
It wasn't the Pyramid Alice. It was some Robusto that I picked up when I was in North Dakota. And she liked it, but she said it's not as good as the Moon Trance. So I was like, well, you got to try different stuff. Better than an acid, she said. Better than an acid, not as good as a Moon Trance.
Okay.
So she hasn't smoked any Tatianas. I doubt she ever will. But
yeah, maybe not.
Maybe not. I'm never buying any more, and I only bought enough to smoke one per style. So.
Yeah. Well, we still got a bunch of them, so I'm sure they'll make another appearance at some point throughout the show.
Oh, we're gonna smoke like every kind that they make. I got a pack of all of them. So eventually. So we'll try them all.
Yep. Anyway, thanks for listening. And I should say this at the top of the episode, but I don't usually. I don't remember till the end. But give us a like, a share, follow, a review, what have you. And we'll catch you next week.
Be safe. Have fun.